What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'm going to be reviewing a beer from the Westbrook Brewing Company, and they're out of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and this is their 8th anniversary Pecan Cookie Stout. So this is an Imperial Stout that they're brewing with candy sugar, roasted pecans, winter spices, and vanilla. Comes in at 9% alcohol by volume, 20 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is exactly 6 weeks old. So I want to give a quick shout out to a fellow beer tuber, the Beardiful. Now he is, I believe, in the midst of a dry January, so he hasn't been posting any alcohol-related content to his channel. But back in December, he was doing some live streams, and I popped into one of them, and he was talking about this beer, about how people that he knew were really digging on it. And the beer hadn't shown up in my area yet, but when it did, I grabbed it, not only because of his recommendation, but also because it's a Westbrook anniversary beer, and typically I grab them. In addition to that, I believe they were selling these for 10 bucks at the Westbrook Brewery at the tasting room, and when this showed up, it was $10.99 in my area. So to get distro from South Carolina to New York and pay only an extra $1, yeah, sign me up. I mean, it's a 22-ounce bottle of a 9% pastry stout for $10.99. In this day and age, that's a great price. So on the side here, they say for our 8th anniversary beer, we created a chocolatey pecan cookie in beer form, roasted pecans, winter spices, and vanilla blend with dark roasted malts and candy syrup for a decadent dessert delight. So yeah, that sounds delicious to me. Do you guys say pecans or pecans? I say pecans. When I was growing up, I said pecans. I don't know when I changed. I just did. I was like, a pecan sound, I don't know, better. I don't know. What do you guys do? Huh? What do you do? I don't think it matters. There's so many different ways to say different words, but I say pecans. Anyway, let's give it a pour into hashtag proper glassware, right, Paul? Everything tastes better in proper glassware. That's pouring out like motor oil. At 9%, I didn't think it would be that, dark, but it totally is. Got a little bit of hair on there. Okay, so let's turn this around. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's straight up. On camera, it's going to be pitch black. In reality, it is pitch black. It's pretty fucking dark. Not even any like ruby red or mahogany tones on the edge there. About a finger of a straight up brown colored head. That is a fucking dark head. Very creamy looking. Wow, this looks like a beautiful, amazing beer. And I want to get a nose, so let's go. Ooh, it smells like a real big, rich Imperial Stout. Now, when they say winter spices, what are they entailing? Is it nutmeg, cardamom, cinnamon, allspice, your typical winter spices, like in a winter warmer, I would assume. A lot of those overlap with fall spices as well, I feel. Let's get another deep nose on this. Yeah, the pecans, there's an ever so slight nuttiness here in the nose. If they didn't say they were brewing with pecans, I would just assume it's coming from the roasted malt. A little bit of vanilla as well. The spices are there, but I can't like pick out each spice separately. I'd just say this has a spicy component to the nose. Quite chocolatey, has a big like baker's chocolate, a dark chocolate vibe, like a 60-70% cacao bar vibe. It doesn't smell overly sweet. There is enough like roasted into almost slightly like charred or burnt malt. Yeah, that's cutting down on the sweetness as well. I'll be honest with you, the nose on this isn't amazing. This has been onto my fridge too for an hour. And let's say it's room temperature, and down here right now it's like 63, 64, so like lower 60s, and that's appropriate. We'll say cellar temp. And yeah, it's not a bad nose. It's just you're using roasted pecans. You have vanilla in here, and spices in addition to the base malt and everything, and it smells relatively cohesive, but it just doesn't smell like anything amazing. It doesn't smell bad, though. It smells pretty solid. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. The taste is way better. Wow. Yeah, I feel like so many times the aroma sets me up for disappointment. In this case, I think the aroma set me up to really enjoy the beer. It did like a 180. Instead of setting me up for disappointment, the disappointment set me up for, I guess, being surprised. 9% it is a bit thin. Now, Eric Gilbert, I know what you're going to say. Of course it's a bit thin, but it is. It's honestly a bit thin. I'd say this is like higher side of medium body or lower side of full. It doesn't have like a thick chewiness or viscosity. It just has, a decent body to it. Now, the mouthfeel, though, is slightly creamy. yeah, slightly creamy and smooth. Not a ton of carbonation, so it's, you know, it's kind of what you want, at least what I want from a pastry stout. I don't want a lot of carbonation. The taste, though, it's almost like you took pecans, like chocolate-covered pecans is the best way I could explain the, or describe the taste. So right up front, a lot of dark chocolate. As it passes through the palate, the nuttiness from the pecans, you know, they kind of pop in and out, probably mid-palate to the finish, somewhere around there. There is like a cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeggy kind of spice that is omnipresent throughout the entire palate, but to me, it's a subtle spice. Like, it's not getting in the way of all the rest of the characters. I was kind of afraid that this would be a bit too spicy, but it's not. It just has a nice spiciness to it. The vanilla pops in at the end. So take like a dark chocolate covered pecan, dust it in some of those winter spices, and maybe like a little bit of a vanilla drizzle or something. And that's kind of what you have in beer form. A cookie, not really. I'm not getting enough of like a malt presence that would say like there's a, you know, a biscuity component or like a cookie component to the base, like a crackery graham cracker vibe to it. Not really. Maybe they should use graham cracker in here. I know that's not technically a cookie, but I think it would give you kind of a reminiscer, like a pecan pie or something. 9%, I can't tell you this is 9%. 7, 6.5, 7. No booziness to speak of. A little bit of warming down in the stomach, but outside of that, not on the palate. There's no astringency. This drink's like a 6.5, 7% stout. It's a good pastry stout. It's actually a very tasty pastry stout. I'm thoroughly enjoying this one. And the thing I like about it is it's sweet, but for my palate, it's not crazy sweet. I would say my recommendation would be to share this with at least one other person, which I'm going to do. But I don't think I could drink 22 ounces of this. I don't think I could drink 22 ounces of many pastry stouts, if I'm just being honest with you. Even though this was a great deal, I prefer this to be in like a 12-ounce bottle. Honestly, that's what my preference would be, or even a 16-ounce can. That said, not complaining about a 22-ounce beer for $11 at 9% that has all these adjuncts in it. As far as my personal rating on this goes, I'm really enjoying it. It's nothing mind-blowing, but at the same time, it's a very well-made pastry stout that isn't too sweet for my palate, at least of the 11 ounces I'm going to drink of this. And yeah, it's a damn good beer. So the 8th anniversary Pecan Cookie Stout from Westbrook Brewing Company, I'm going to give it a, I'm going to give it a 4.25 out of 5. I was debating 4.25. This would, in reality, give like a 4.1, 4.15. We'll just give it a 4.25 to be generous. I think they did a really good job considering all the adjuncts in this and what's going on. It's, for my palate, a really good pastry stout. I would like to see a bigger body on this, and I would like to see a little bit more oomph to the overall adjuncts in this beer. I think it's well made, very cohesive, but I don't think there's enough intensity to the flavors for me when you're, brewing with roasted pecans, candy sugar, vanilla, and the spices. I do like the fact that they dialed back the spices a bit though. So anyway, let me know if you've had the 8th anniversary Pecan Cookie Stout from Westbrook. I'd be curious to know what you guys think about it. I think it's pretty damn good and the value is there. That's another reason I'm giving it 4.25. The value's there. It fucking is, no doubt. Anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. Another review here on the Beer Patrol. Appreciate the Beer to Full giving this a recommendation. I did enjoy it. And until the next one, cheers.